Hello, Simon Burge, and we've got a special guest, Coldie. Coldie, how are you doing, my friend? We were just kind of talking offline about how I felt I've had this full circle moment where I started in NFTs in 2021. You came up on my radar. I followed you, and recently you gave me a follow back, which is a bit of a pinch me moment for me personally. So excited to have you on the show, my friend. How have you been? What's been happening?
Thanks for having me. First of all, I've been good. I've been head down and grinding on a couple different like longer tail projects instead of like kind of one-off thoughts. I'm finding a lot of love and lore and deeper storytelling.
Yeah.
And if we had talked 2 days ago or maybe 36 hours ago,
Yeah.
I would have had one less project that I have rabbit holed into. But I had a new one that hit me literally as I was laying in bed. It just like hit me like a freight train.
Yeah.
And luckily, I guess my laptop was nearby and I just hopped into Claude and then it was real. And I could shut my brain off for, 7 or 8 hours and go to sleep. But it was like that where, we all have those thoughts, they just pop in there and sometimes they're so big and so profound that it's like, I can't risk losing this thought.
Yeah.
And I can't risk not starting it right now.
No,
So
I have that as a writer, so I know exactly what you mean. I have to get onto my notes. It might be the middle of the night and I get my notepad out and I'm like, shit, I've got to write this down before the most high premise thing that's in your mind has got to go down on paper or you just lose it forever.
yeah.
You came up on my radar in 2021 when you did this collab with Snoop Dogg, and I think the NFT sold, I think it was Decentralized Dog. It sold for $790,000 during the hype of NFT mania. Before we kind of get onto that, and I guess for people who don't actually know who you are, just tell us a bit about your origin story. I know that you started in art very, very early. I think you were using your granddad's Macintosh as a 4 or a 5-year-old. Is that right?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. It's,
Wow.
I could still like, I'm a very visual, have a visual memory. And I literally, I can like put myself in that chair and
Yeah.
remember the button clicks of, it was one of the first Macintosh, like the kind of tan cubes. And, I'd go to grandma and grandpa's house and they're great, but like, I'd want to like go do something. And they said, do you want to go on the computer? I was like, all right. And they had Mac Paint and, I didn't know how to type or anything. So I was like, yeah, let's go in here. And I was very vigilant every time I started a new session painting, I had to take the paint box or the paint can that like fills the screen. And I had to fill it with the brick wall. If it was not a brick wall, I was not going to paint. And it's interesting because I lived in a little bubble. I lived in the suburbs, but that was like putting understanding of like graffiti or like I needed a certain type of canvas to express my 4-year-old thought. And it was always a brick wall. And like looking back on it, I was like, I'm kind of fucking proud of that. Like I had things that I needed to create with, and it was that damn brick wall. So, I started then. I would not call myself prolific at 4, but I was learning tools, and I was also very big in. I was a jock back when I was an athlete.
Yeah,
I was always playing sports, so it kind of took up a lot of my time. But in high school, I really got back into graphic design and photography classes in the dark room and learning some of these kind of tools that aren't even around anymore. And I had this really fantastic graphic design teacher at my school, small little public school.
yeah,
But we had some phenomenal artists, and we all worked on each other's projects. I was the graphic designer, and I was art directing, designing, doing publishing, like basically all on my own. And I was on the basketball team. So I was producing my own pregame booklet, and I was stapling those up until the time that coach came in and said, "Where the hell are you?" Like, it's warm-ups, So
Yeah.
I've always been a creative entrepreneur, and it's funny how like one thing leads to another, and all those little things I picked up along the way became my 10,000 hours that you talk about of being
Yeah.
finding proficiency at
Mm.
something, and that has led me to this crazy life.
Yeah, I always find when people pop off on the back end, there's always an origin story of like it's like the overnight success thing. This didn't happen overnight. You've been doing this for such a long time. But what was the transition between doing the physical stuff and then moving to digital?
Yeah, so like I was saying, I always identified as a graphic designer, or a designer. That
Yeah,
was my trade. And after doing graphic design for 10 years, I started looking at who is making the graphic, who's designing the art that I'm designing with, right? And it's called like a key art designer, or just an artist.
yeah,
And I was like, hey, I want to do that, right? And that's a big jump, and at the same time, you just have to start doing it.
yeah,
So I started to kind of try to rebalance my creative life, where instead of 100% graphic design, I was going to do 100% graphic, or 90% graphic design and 10% art with my time, right? And then just slowly like retrain the balance of where I was putting my focus. And that takes years, and I'm still working on that, right?
my time.
And um it got me to a point where I made the big jump to take my digital. I'm a digitally native artist,
Yeah,
putting that onto a canvas, right? And it's again, it's like the brick wall. I
yeah.
needed something to attach onto, and I could show you. Do I have? Yeah, I have one here. So this is not the very first, but this is probably like the third one I did.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
I was doing these. These are stereoscopic. So if you had 3D glasses and you put them on,
Oh, okay.
it pops out at you. So it's a landscape scene of photos I took, and
It's cool,
what
man.
and I was practicing with gold leafing, and the really crazy thing about this period of my life is that this process I learned when I was in art school, and it's called a gel image transfer. It's a
Yeah.
very delicate way of moving ink onto a canvas. And
Okay.
I was effing around and finding out. And
Yeah. No, I love that. So
and on the second one I did, I totally messed up. Like half of it flaked away, like 40 hours of work gone. And I threw it in the trash.
is this the one you torched?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So I threw this thing in the trash, and then I stared at this thing in the trash, and there's this very kind of existential moment. I was like, am I first of all going to give up on the 40 hours I just spent doing it? And is this trash? Because as soon as the trash man comes, it's gone.
Yeah.
And I let it sit there for like 5 minutes. And I was like, oh, no, we're not done. And I had to figure out how to problem solve that. And I don't know how it popped in my head, but right away it was like, you need to blowtorch the part that you messed up on. And I did, and that piece sold in my local gallery. Like, whoa, right? And it blew me away, because it went from experimental, just do something, to trash, and then to a purchased piece in a gallery. And that taught me so many different things. It was a kind of a life-changing experience I went through.
Yeah. Man, I love that. One of the things I like hearing is certainly the adversity around things. There's a couple of things I picked up from the hours of kind of listening to podcasts. One of them is you do like a good conspiracy theory. I don't know if Simon or Bert, you picked up on any of
Yes,
that.
yeah, I heard
And I
about
love
this.
all that sort of shit. And actually, I'm not saying you can kind of see it in the art, but you do have very distinctive art. I think another thing that we kind of picked up on is that you're involved in a shooting, which it might sound pretty normal in the US, but for us across the pond in the UK, I mean, we have our knife crime epidemic, but trust me, like a shooting is a fucking major thing, which is crazy. But tell me about that time you clearly a starved artist at one point. You don't know if this whole thing is going to work out for you. What's going through your mind? I think there was a point there where you were working in, was it your parents' basement at a time and you were creating art? Just tell me what's going through your mind, because there'll be a bunch of artists that watch this. And, I was actually speaking to an artist today, and they're a traditional artist. They're trying to get their work out there. We've gone through this whole period of time where artists have been starved. There's absolutely no ways to sell your work unless you're one of the very top artists and you can get into these galleries. Now it's kind of been democratized through NFTs. But just tell me about that time. Was there doubt going through your mind, or was this just something you just enjoyed doing?
I made the decision fairly early on, I guess in my early 20s, and I'm pushing mid 40s now. I said, this is my path. Like, I am a creative person. My most tangible skills to the world is creation. And if I don't follow those skills and passions, then I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And that was very clear early on. I wouldn't say it was received wonderfully with my parents. They are very supportive. They always are. But I think that background's on my noise. I'm sorry.
Okay, no, it's all good. It's all good.
But they supported me, and that was always the journey. And I just have a faith in things are supposed to happen for a reason, right?
Yeah.
So all these things that I've been through are kind of like teaching me how to keep going on that path, right? And I think that I just being unwavered by that and just keep creating. And also, like you say, starving artists, like I'm still a starving artist. Like it's that it's a mindset, but also just it's a way of life. Art is art's a forever journey. So the more I can stay hungry and literally like scaring myself, just like when I blowtorch that canvas.
Yeah.
That's it. Right. And it's also kind of hard because like, it's like a musician, you get the first 18 years of your life to write your first album. And usually there's a lot of shit in there that you can write about. But then on the second album, what are you going to do next? Right. Like that becomes way harder because maybe you used all your stories up.
Yeah. It's interesting though, because I guess the promise of NFTs in the beginning was the royalties. So you got the royalties were a thing in perpetuity. So actually it was like, I can create something significant on the front end and have something on the back end in perpetuity. And that was the promise to the artist, I guess. But the enforcing of the royalties was at the marketplace level. And now what you have is you had a whole bunch of traders trying to trade around art and NFT projects, which I guess brought on like the blur stuff and all that. And now I guess you're forced in a position to create more art. Is that what you're saying, or you feel under pressure to bring new hits out?
No, it's not about the hits. If it was about the hits, I'd go back to commercial design and like try to, I don't even know what I'd do over there. But like, if it was about that, then art is not like, that's not why I make art. Like I make art to like have therapy. I make art to push myself to limits that my normal life doesn't like push me to. Right. So it's always it's the elusive hunt for the next thing that amuses me. Right. If it's not amusing me, why am I even doing it?
No, I love that.
Like, what's the point? And I think that is the excitement that has drawn me to being a creative, is that it can be anything. I've done like my currency project. It's called Filthy Fiat. That's a whole different rabbit hole. But one example of a sub rabbit hole in that is doing fashion. and I made this awesome looking like tracksuit that I love, right? So
Yeah.
I never thought I would want to make a tracksuit with money all over it, but I'm sure happy I did.
Yeah.
Right.
I
So
noticed you do cover a lot of the tech giants, like the leaders in tech. I was actually just playing around on your website earlier and accidentally clicked on Edward Snowden's hair, and it took it off the page. I was like, "What the fuck's going on here?" which is crazy. I just in general terms, because I want to bring some value to the audience, who I guess people who are general NFT collectors. What do you make of the current market at the moment, and just some reflections on 2021, some of the behaviors? How do you think the market's shaping up at the moment? We've seen some really big collectors, some whales come into the space and collect some of the higher end stuff. We've seen Adam Weitzman, who's doing these big sweeps of like Moonbergs, Good Vibes Club, V Friends, Quirkies, all these different projects. Do you think this is a preview? How do you think this market's shaping up, I guess, versus 2021, where there was this outsized demand but very little supply?
yeah, I mean, I think that we're in a perpetual like fractal like of a growth phase,
Yeah,
and I I'll say where we're at now, and I'll tie it back to where I came from. I think where we're at now, the tech has been proven, and that's why all of us, when we started, we're just trying to prove the tech. The tech works. The art that is being made is so varied. You can buy what you like at this point, and there's a lot of options, which I think is great.
yeah,
I think that 2021 was great in some ways because it brought a worldwide attention to the space, but I also feel like we weren't quite prepared or fully like ready for that moment, and things got a little out of control. In some ways great, in
yeah,
some ways good ways, but also I think long-term growth that kind of leads to like the boom bust cycles, which
Yep.
isn't healthy for a growing market. So I think we had to go through 2021 in order to be where we're at now, and this trajectory is still revolutionary.
yeah,
It's really the people who've stuck around since 2021, I think, really show the longevity and like the seriousness of it. There's a lot of artists who came in and made a bag and disappeared, right? And that is kind of the black eye that I feel is on the space.
Yeah, I mean, I think the behavior was on both sides. You had the collectors who were day trading and flipping the stuff. What do you make of, like, I guess there feels like this current trend of actual collectability happening. It feels like people are actually collecting stuff they like, and there's less of the financialization of it, which is probably lends itself to a bit more of a healthier ecosystem. Do you think that change is happening? Obviously, there's go on.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely think that. I mean, first of all, Jason Bailey, Art Gnome, is a quadruple OG, and he made the statement: "Is buy things you like, even if they go to zero. If you buy what you like, then it's a great purchase."
Yeah,
and I mean that applies to anything in life, right? But I think in this space, people are actually understanding that it's not 2021 where you can click a button and you're 10xing in an hour.
yeah,
Right. That's gambling. Like, I think it's important to look at that. Like, if you're gambling, look yourself in the eye and know you're gambling. To each their own.
yeah, exactly.
But if you're collecting, put on your collector hat and buy something that you would be proud of making a print and hanging it in your house. Like, that's the test.
It's like,
right? Like, look at this thing every day.
I spoke to Drew Austin. He said a similar thing about just being a consumer of the product. If you're a consumer of the product, on the back end, what you allow it to do is appreciate. And the art, by definition, needs time to appreciate. And then you kind of have that serendipity of owning something that may go up in price. But the weird kind of thing of it is when it goes up in price and it's more desirable, you don't want to fucking sell it. So just like it's I heard Zeneca say actually it's infinite regret. It's just this whole space is infinite regret because if you have something that's of value, it's like this trophy asset. Every fucker wants it, and you're like, actually, no, I'm not going to sell it. And that's why a whole bunch of people round tripped NFTs and I guess the high end art stuff in the way they did. I just want to bring Simon and Burge here. Anything you kind of want to add to the conversation? Because I know you guys. Go on, Burge.
Yeah, I had a question on, you said about, how crazy the 2021 scene was. You also said that you felt it was important to stay or feel like a starving artist. That was an important part of the creative process. Do you feel like, was that a tricky time to go through then when, you were blowing up as well as a bunch of other artists? And obviously, a lot of money was being traded around that time. So, you might have had pieces. I mean, I have it down here. You first realized this was real when you sold a piece for $1,000 back in spring 2020. I mean, that would have been dwarfed. Like in 2021, some of those sales would have completely dwarfed that. So, as an artist, was it almost too much success and too much kind of money flowing around that might have kind of shifted you off track in terms of that starving artist type mindset? Or were you able to stay really grounded?
I would say it's a balance. Like things got so out of control that I would just call it like everybody was drunk.
Yeah.
Right. And drunk is good and bad, right? Depends on how you hold your liquor.
We fucking didn't hold it. We didn't hold it down in 2020.
No, yeah, a bunch of people just blacked out, right? Some people are still blacked out. Right? It's fine, whatever. Do your thing. But I think that that happened to everybody, right? It was insane. And what I can say is, like, if you bring it back to the Snoop Dogg, which would probably be the 2021 pinnacle of my story at that time, was things were already getting nuts. And then Snoop had been happening for a while. And it's a collaboration. I told Snoop, I was like, hey man, which is crazy. I'm talking to Snoop. And I'm like, I do not do cash grabs for celebrities. It's just part of my ethos. That's not what we do. If you want to do a real collaboration with me, Coldie, let's go. I'll do the visuals and you do the audio, and we'll meet in the middle, and then it'll be a collaboration. He's like, let's go. I was like, great. So all this mayhem's happening. I had
just to clarify, did he reach out to you?
Yes. Yeah, they found me. Yeah. I don't.
So that's surreal. That's surreal, right? Like on your journey.
Yeah.
So what?
It was nuts. I didn't think it was real at first.
Snoop Dogg reaches out to you. What's going through your mind? Bear in mind, you've been fucking working in your mom's basement, which is fucking epic in itself.
Yeah,
mate. I used to live on an ostrich farm, and now I'm a full-time writer. So we kind of resonate on different levels and on different continents. But it is what it is.
It was surreal because I grew up in the era when all his music was coming out. Like I grew up with Snoop, and he literally, like him and Tupac and Notorious B.I.G. and Dr. Dre. I mean, there's a group of them. Like in my '88 Honda Civic with my big subwoofers, like I was learning like all these things, right? I was learning at a time I didn't understand. I was learning about Snoop's cadences. I was learning about Snoop's rhyming, right? Just as I'm driving 16 years old in my car, right? But all these things come back around.
Yeah.
I thought it was surreal, and I thought it was a cool opportunity when I realized it was real and they wanted to actually make art together. I thought it was a great, like, weird bucket list I didn't ever expect. And then it got crazier. They had, I'm trying to get the timeline correct. I had gone to NFT NYC, which is a huge event in New York for NFTs. It was out of control, and everyone came back with COVID. Like I got real sick, like literally like kind of almost dying sick. And at the same time, Snoop's mom had just passed away. Super sad. and it mattered because he was going to do the lyrics and the rhyming and all, and do that part. And you know, his camp came back, and you know, I saw on the news before they told me. I was like, yeah, I saw him. You know, super condolences. And he's like, yeah, can you like write the lyrics for Snoop and then he'll rap them? And I was like, I just okay,
wow.
Let me qualify myself as just, you know, I'm not your prototypical like rapper lyric guy. But I said I've listened to his lyrics for 25 years. Like I can come up with something, but you know, I'm gonna do my best.
ChatGPT would have done well back then, but yeah.
I was gonna say, yeah.
You want to know what my superpower was? I was so sick. Like literally, I'm a very clean person. I don't take medications. But in America, I don't know if you guys have a NyQuil. Do you guys have NyQuil over there?
Yeah.
Okay. NyQuil is not good for you. But NyQuil makes you sleep. So I was like, I just want to go to sleep. So I took some NyQuil, and I had to do the lyrics like as I was sick.
Tell me you woke up as a rapper and that shit got banned. Because I
did what the rappers do, and not knowing I was fucked up on NyQuil, and I wrote the lyrics on NyQuil.
That's fucking brilliant.
And I'm talking 3 verses in flow.
You're kidding.
It just came out.
Because I've listened to that video. Burgess actually got it on a share screen. I've listened to it, and I actually thought that it was him that wrote the lyrics. But that's fucking insane that you wrote that, mate.
Yeah, bar for bar, he rapped the entire thing bar for bar.
That's crazy. Burgess, can you play that?
Yeah, sorry, I was playing, and then
is it just frozen?
Let me just refresh it.
Double G is back.
Here it is.
With Coldie on this decentralized track. Certified block. Like these chains around my neck, it can't, won't, and don't stop. Look into these eyes, get hypnotized, get into the scene, blazing this NFT dream. Alpha since day one. The OG Don Snoop is back to remind you how the dog father remains number one.
Let's go.
That is so fucking cool, bro. I can't. Do you know what? Hats off to you, because you know what? I think a lot of people would have fumbled that, but that's fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
So there's quite a popular NFT collector. I don't know if it's a pseudonymous name or whatever, but is it 888 Volt that actually made the purchase of it?
Yeah.
It was one of the biggest purchases for 3D collage style art. Probably ever. I don't know. You probably correct me on that. I don't know the history of it, which is incredible in itself. But do you know that person, or was it just?
No, I did. I mean, I knew of them. Like they're around, but we didn't have like a relationship before that. They, I you know that as it was happening. So, God, there's so many stories.
I love it.
Just to come in here, it was purchased on auction for 188.8 Ethereum, which is $362,000 at the time. I just wanted to add that for the audience.
That's fucking crazy, Simon.
That's now. That's current. That's current.
Oh, that's now. Sorry.
Yeah, it was seven something.
Yeah, it'd be worth like
7 something.
Simon, just want to bring you in here, bud. I know we've probably ousted you out a little bit. I know.
Not at all.
Simon loves doing his research, and he loves digging into certainly the NFT IP plays. But what are your thoughts, Simon? You got anything to chip in?
Well, I was just going to say, is it NyQuil, Coldie?
NyQuil.
NyQuil. Yeah. So are you really saying that if you want to be an artist, particularly a rapper, that's what you take?
they literally talk about doing that. That's like one of their rapping lyric writing choices is like,
maybe we should do that on live stream
or something.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go and have some now with my pizza. I'll tell you what comes out.
Hold on.
I was gonna ask you actually just something, Jaden, you mentioned earlier about royalties for artists, and am I right in saying, Coldie, that you were there at the beginning helping to set the standard for royalties, and in terms of like really establishing that for artists, and I wondered whether things have lived up to what you wanted or not, and how you see that has panned out for you and for other people.
Yeah, there's a coalition of us. There was probably, I think, like 15. I don't know exactly the number, but somewhere around there. There's a group of us early crypto artists, and it was headed by, again, it was a group. A couple of the people who were instrumental were Matt Kane, Bard Ianson, Black Box Art. There was a whole group. I can't name everybody, but like there was a core group of like friends, like we care. And there was a time when there was 10% royalties, which is what we all came in, and it worked. On Super Rare was the main site. Things selling Super Rare, you're getting 10%, right? Great, it worked. Smart contract, great. And then at one point, Super Rare said, without any like prior knowledge, like, okay, we're going to go to 3%, I believe. I think it was 3%. And we're like, whoa. Like we do not agree. And then, then it was like, there's 3 different parties involved. There were the artists, the platforms, and the collectors. And there was a talk, like, what is fair? What is right? What are we doing? And the artists realized that we have to stand up for not only ourselves, but for our future selves and everybody else who's going to come after us.
Yeah.
Because we knew, like, it was very, very small back then. And there was a manifesto that was written, and all of us signed it. And we basically said, if you don't agree to 10%, we're not going to mint here, or we're going to find our own way to do it. Right. And it was received well. It wasn't like we weren't being assholes. We were just like, had boundaries, and everyone agreed. The collectors agreed. The platforms agreed. We agreed. And then we moved on. And it kept going for, I don't know, a couple of years. I don't know. Until the whole Blur OpenSea fiasco really blew up royalties as we know them. It truly is one of the most important things with this entire space, because what it is artists with royalties can benefit from their own future success, right? If you think about, let's say a Picasso, right? A Picasso, they didn't even sell, first of all, at the beginning, but when they did sell, he wasn't even alive. But like when they would sell, it would be for a small amount, right? But then over the years, when they become hundreds of millions of dollars, that 10% ain't going to Picasso's family, right? NFTs fixed, and I say they do fix it. We're in a growth phase where I still feel that royalties is what makes all of this revolutionary for the artist, right? Myself included. I would sell a piece of art for $100 in when I first started, right? That's what the market was bearing. It's not my job to make the prices. I just make the art. Like everyone else figures out what they're worth, right?
Yeah.
To this day, I make something that's like, it's not always up to me. So now with the royalties the way they are, it's become more of a relationship. It's more of a social contract than a smart contract, where I've made relationships and I'm friends with a lot of my collectors who buy and sell my art. And it just happened a couple days ago. This guy I've known for a couple of years, we're just friends online. He bought a piece and he checked in with me and he's like, hey man, I don't know if the 10% was included in this transaction because he bought the piece, but he was going to offer to give me 10% and he bought it.
Wow.
That's amazing.
I think there's like a little bit of a paradigm shift there, because the collector understands, especially if they're making a lot of money or making money on the sale, it's easier to pull off 10% than if you lose 90%. I get it. It's hard to pull off 10% when you're already down.
Yeah.
I get that. So there
was a bit of talk about like actually making the contract. If it was in profit, it bakes in the 10%, but actually if you're down on it, it foregoes or whatever. But I like the actual reciprocity with the collectors. But I'm actually a big fan of the royalties because it allows to get your community in at a lower entry, but also gives them a piece of the upside on the back end, whilst also motivating the individual artists to keep driving value.
Exactly.
Without diluting their work. I mean, you're seeing it with NFT collections. You're seeing it with NFT collections that are moving to like a baked-in royalty contract. Obviously, Good Vibes Club had it, Chimpa's had it, and there'll be many more because it just feeds the ecosystem, provided that some of those royalties are going back in.
Exactly.
Obviously, with
everyone benefits as well from it.
It's
a reciprocal experience. I think it brings you closer to the artist. You feel you're part of something. It's that generosity. And I was thinking that my niece, who's about 15, and she loves her art and she's got really into digital art. And I remember saying to her, you know, and what's great is the fact that if you do start, even at your young age, starting to sell stuff, it's not just a one-off. You can really benefit as you go along, and it's going to be this reciprocal thing that's feeding the ecosystem. What goes around comes around, and all that kind of stuff. I remember being quite passionate about that particular aspect of what the difference was between sort of the physical art and the NFT world, and I just hope that sustains itself. I think that's a really important part.
Yeah, it is for sure.
Yeah. Coldie, I just wanted to move on to you've got a new collection coming out. I don't know if it's live or anything like that, or it's due to come out. Is that right?
Yeah, it's due to come out. Actually, I haven't even talked about it, so this is
good. So Carrot Lane gets the first insight, mate.
We're
going to snippet this. We're going to put some paid advertising behind. No, I'm joking.
Give me 10%. We're good.
I know you've got a sense of humor, Coldie, because before we came on, I said, I'm just letting you know that obviously Simon and Burge are going to be here. And you were like, no, my agent said it's only one-on-one. And you had a deadpan straight face. I was like, this guy is fucking with me. And then everyone just starts laughing. I was like, oh, fucking thank God for that. I didn't upset him. So no, it's all good. But you've got a new collection coming out. Tell us a bit about the inspiration behind it, what your thoughts are, when it's going to launch, and how people can access it.
Yeah. So I'm going to give the medium size explanation, because it could be 6 hours or it could be,
Yeah. Well, hey, listen, this could be an all-night stream, mate. We're I know you're midday wherever you are in the States, but we can go until 2 a.m. here in the UK. Simon's pizza will be cold, but it is what it is.
Yeah, grab your pizza, dude. Don't eat cold pizza.
Yeah, this is not a corporate meeting, Simon.
I've been over the past, I'd call it 2 years, I've been wrangling with this this kind of mantra. And the mantra was born through taking my son to art galleries ever since he was a little kid, right? Kids are very explorative, and they want to like interact with things. So you take a kid to an art gallery, what do you think they want to do? They want to touch it all, right? They want to get up in there and feel it. And it's cute at first when they're like 3 and you say, oh, don't touch the art. But then by the time they're like a decade old, you're like, dude, don't touch the art. Right. And this like feedback would like go through my head every single time I said that, with like a negative feeling. Like, why are you even saying that? Right.
Yeah.
And it really got into my head. Like, why? Like, my child wants to explore and experience things, and I'm reprimanding them for that. It feels awful, right? I don't want to take home a broken sculpture, so I'm going to tell him not to. However, that is not resonating. Like, if you feel like you're in flow or equilibrium, it felt like dissonance, right? It was like a bad feeling. So I really took that to heart, and I was like, God, what is this? How do I solve this dissonant thought? And I flipped the script. Instead of don't touch the art, it's touch the art. And that's been this guiding mantra that I've run with for 2 years.
I love that.
And again, I was never planning to do a touch the art themed art piece, but like, just like we were talking about, all these things happen, and I'm a very reactionary.
It's very countercultural, isn't it? I mean, I remember growing up in South Africa. My mum used to take me to these Sunday markets, and you had some of the local artists, and they'd have their canvas stuff there. And on all of the the signage of the art, the classic thing was if you touch it and break it, you own it. And it's just like, or yeah, don't touch the art. I grew up in South Africa, which is 30 years behind anyone else anyway. So this is like a very old school thing. But yeah, I completely resonate with what you're saying.
Yeah. So, I mean, that was the beginning of it. And where I took that, I was not planning to do that. And it became, the physical came first, because we're talking about physical art in a gallery. And I was also wanting to get off of the screen a little bit and get back to my roots of physical art making. And it kind of just popped in my head. I wanted to make a collage artwork that was customizable by the viewer. And I decided to use magnets for that. And so I created kind of like, on your refrigerator, you can have the alphabet, or, we used to have magnets all over the place. I was like, if I can have the magnets, but my whole jam is 3D. So I have the magnets, but then I created these magnetic spacers of different heights, right? So you can have short ones or long ones. And then when you add the magnet onto the spacer, it would, pop out at different levels. So I'd created a 3D composable magnetic portrait.
Okay.
And that felt a lot of joy go through my body, right? And that's the barometer, right? If it's joy and it's also scary and you have to figure it out, those are the check marks of like, I'm doing something that's like in my highest good. Like, let's keep doing that. Let's explore.
I love that.
And that led me to making a piece that sold at Christie's. If you scroll down, there's a magnet one pretty close. Oh yeah, there's one of them.
Right.
That's a piece that I made for the Bitcoin conference art gallery.
Yeah.
That's
Is
Jack
the Edward Snowden one there?
Yeah, I have no, I haven't done Snowden. That's Jack Dorsey, and that one here is another magnet. If you scroll up a little bit, you can see on the video each of those pieces are held up with magnets, and you can rearrange the face, and
that's cool.
And I did that because I want people to, I guess another thing, like when you go to an art gallery, and I watch other people at art galleries, because I do my own thing at an art gallery. But I was kind of watching, like, what is let's call it like the normal person doing at an art gallery.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of like sauntering and sidestepping and kind of quick. Oh, this is a landscape with a tree. Oh, this is a painting of a pie. Oh, that's a cow. And then they're just like very quickly passing by wonderful works of art. And that also bugs me. And I was like, what can I do to invite people to kind of like spend a little bit more time, or have their own creative thought on top of this thing they're looking at, not just staring at something, but do something with it, like touch the art. And I sold that piece at Christie's, and it came with a digital version as well, which can also be that token actually is going to work. It's a recursive piece, so there are all the different elements in that. And then over time, when the physical piece is made, we're going to take photos of the digital piece and make a token of it for provenance.
Right. Okay.
That's V0. That's the V0 F around and find out Genesis piece. Okay.
Yeah.
And I've made 3 more since then, evolving it, right? And I say that because the evolution is now ping-ponged back into the digital.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
All right. So if I'm not making sense, tell me to stop.
No, you're good, mate. Okay. I find it.
I really like it.
I love it.
Really connected with what you said in terms of, people at galleries, because I went to one recently in December in London, and you do get a lot of that, you know, and even I've been guilty of it at times as well, where, you know, I'll stop on a piece of art that really catches my eye, but a lot of the other pieces of art that maybe don't immediately capture something or read immediately, you know, pique my curiosity. I'm thinking exactly what you were saying, like, you know, this is a boat on a canal, and now I'm moving on to, okay, this is a bowl of fruit. And, you know, I just think making art a bit more interactive gives people more time to actually understand and go deeper into that artwork and go deeper into what the artist was thinking about before, when they were making that piece of art. So I really like it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
I find your stuff, like any art I see of yours, like the collage style, I immediately know it's yours. Whereas when I see other people's art, I don't have that distinction. Obviously, you have that with people. Obviously, with XCopy, there are people doing, not derivatives of XCopies, but there are people doing glitch style art. But yours is very distinctive, and it kind of stands out a mile away. I know straight away, okay, that's a Coldie because of the obviously collage style. I think you were the first. I think you're the first person ever to do 3D art on the blockchain. Is that right? Ever got that?
I
don't want the whole historical community to come at you in the comments, but
yeah, I hate
I know it can be quite tribal out there.
Aren't you the first? I do. I mean, I am quite a degen as an NFT collector, so I'm always looking for, you know, other stuff out there. I think I won't say I'm the first, but I haven't found anybody.
One of.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well,
but with like 3D glasses art, I would have to say
yes. Wait, yes. Coldie, I actually want to dive in on this point. Because obviously 3D glasses is such. I mean, you have a CryptoPunk, and you which has the 3D glasses tray. You've showed us the piece earlier, which was a piece that really needed 3D glasses for it to really pop out. What's the obsession there? Where did that come around in terms of, you know, why do you like 3D glasses so much?
Oh man.
I mean, I want to add a bit of context here for the audience as well. I think when I was doing my research, you put away a parcel of like, if everything goes to shit, this is what I need, and it was $201 bills, which later became, you know, filthy fiat. You then had some bullets in there, but you also kept a pair of 3D glasses. So that was like in probably your top 7 things
that's essential in the future.
Yeah, exactly. If there was an apocalypse or whatever happened,
that's a doomsday
you had
package
your 3D glasses. So there must be a deep connection there to that piece, that item.
Yeah, that's so funny. It's
actually,
true.
If you look above your head, that piece of art above you's got 3D glasses on.
Yeah. This is actually this is a painting, a robotic painting by the artist Pindar Van Arman.
Right. Okay.
And it's painted by a robot, and it took a picture of me, and it reinterpreted it with its robot vision. You can see how it kind of like doubled up.
Ah, cool.
Yeah, it looks awesome.
It looks great. Yeah, but the robot decided to do all that.
Crazy.
So yeah, I mean, okay, so
here. So I'm assuming it came about as a kid, right?
Yeah. I grew up with the Viewmasters. You guys know what Viewmasters are?
Mm-hmm.
And then also, actually, hold on one second. I will show you this stuff. Hold on.
Just while he's on there, Lee Mason has put, always like the magnets. It's a nice, gentle way to invite interaction. I love that. Lee's obviously a fan of Coldie's. I'm just going to shout out some of the people in the comments. We've got a LinkedIn person who says, "Happy Thursday, gentlemen." And I don't know what this reference is, aka Chambo. I've gotten black eyes all over, but we keep going like Rocky. Is this a reference to you, or is that just some random comment?
I know, aka. What's up, dude? He's Perseverance. This is a Perseverance talk.
Right. Okay. And then Lee Mason, always like the magnets. It's a nice, gentle way to invite interaction. Which
thank you, Lee.
Pretty cool. Nice one, Lee. Really appreciate you guys' comment. Hold on 2 seconds. There's another one here. I just want to shout this person out. Cool painting, Coldie. Big Pendar fan. Love it.
Yeah, these are my crew, dude. Thanks for showing up, everybody.
Yeah, no, it's cool.
Someone just put, takes me back to the 3D glasses you used to get out of the cereal boxes in the UK in the 80s.
Absolutely, dude. It's all that. So I grew up with these are called a Viewmaster.
Lee's just put on there.
You put these little discs in there. Okay.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, we had these at the house, like a lot of kids did back in the 80s. But there was one, actually a couple of these reels that you'd put in there. One I specifically remember, it was, and I can see a picture in my head. It was a Taiwanese farmer's market, and I'd put it in there, and I grew up in Southern California in the suburbs, right? I'd put this Viewmaster on, and it's literally VR, still frame VR.
Yeah.
Because it's stereoscopic. And I put that on, and I was transported to that scene. I couldn't look around, right?
Yeah.
Couldn't talk to anybody, but I was literally with stereoscopic vision, like our eyes. I was in that scene, and it made that so real to me. And it was a very impactful, like visceral feeling, right? My family also had this. I don't know if you guys have seen this before.
Cool.
I'm not sure if I have.
So this is the same technology as this, but this is from like 1910. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like an advanced version of the kaleidoscope. You remember that thing that you?
yeah. It's very similar, actually. It's prismatic. So this is actually a card, and it has two views on it.
Yeah.
And that's the way your eyes work, right? That's how you get depth.
Yeah.
And when it's taken at a slightly different perspective, that's how you get the whole 3D part.
Yeah.
And awesome. Between that and the Viewmaster, it sunk deep into my cortex. And I didn't go back into 3D until, like I was saying, when I was in high school and I flexed that muscle again. It just made sense. And I had this vernacular that was already pretty well formed just because of all this viewing that I knew good 3D. And then I learned how to make the 3D from a 3D photography club in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Everybody was 60 years old in this club.
I can totally believe you. I mean, my dad goes to one of these clubs right now, for photography. So I can totally believe you. So how old would you have been going to this club? Teenagers?
I was living in LA. I was working at LA Weekly. I was probably 24.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's cool. I just want to shout out Victoria Verdandi. She's been singing.
Hello.
She's been singing your praises all week, bud, because we've got there's a private group of us made up of artists and NFT collectors, and she's just said what a good guy you are. I don't know if you guys even know each other or whatever.
We do. Yeah. No, she's more quadruple OG than me, and
so first ever female solo artist on Ethereum. She's such a good person as well.
We met in Marfa, Texas, at Marfa, and it was awesome to meet her in person. Yep, hello.
I think there might have been a picture floating around in our WhatsApp group. It's probably in my camera roll at the moment, mate. I'll get it signed and sent back to you, Dora.
Jaden, aren't we going to Marfa next?
Yes, we have to.
We're planning on it. We're planning on it.
Well, dates were announced yesterday, so
yeah,
we'll have to get on that.
It's go time.
We've obviously had the whole NFT Paris thing cancelled. That's right on our doorstep. We planned on doing that, but Burge has got an event in London planned in 2 weeks' time, which is going to be really exciting for just a melting pot of NFT collectors and artists, which would be great. I just want to come on to David's comment, but the beauty of having you on the I say the show, it's not really a show, it's a bit of a hangout. But the beauty of having someone like you on here is you inspire other artists, because other artists will look at you and go, maybe I can do that. And This is why I love having these types of conversations. It's the same thing with people starting NFT projects and entrepreneurship, because you kind of expanding on your curiosity and your creativity. But David's been in the community for a while now. He says, love this. As an artist using the mosaic medium, people always want to touch the work, including me. Love the interaction part of Coldie's work.
I really want to like jump on that point again of because the bit that resonates the most is the part, Coldie, when you were telling your son, like, you knew it felt wrong to keep having to say that, but it was just one of those unwritten, well, this known rule when you go to a gallery that everything is like it's off limits, you know. Yeah. There's a and if it is a really, really famous piece, there's a fucking piece of rope to make sure you don't get anywhere near it, plus like probably 4 layers of glass, because we've had, you know, incidents in the past as well where people have tried to damage the artwork. But it genuinely is one of those things where as an individual in the past, when you have been able to actually touch a piece of artwork, even if it is just a canvas piece, it's I don't know what it is, but it's something that you like you want to do it, but obviously in a gallery situation, it usually isn't like something that they can accommodate at all. Yeah. So I really like the project.
No, thank you. And just to touch on that, like, you know, we my wife loves to like thrift and find treasures, and I'm the at home like conservator, and I decide if things are a print or real, right? So like I'm bestowed this ability, which is it's freaking magic. Like this feeling is so weird. Like next time you do this, like feel what you're feeling inside, right? Like for like this artwork, okay, I made this. Yes. And like to like go on it and then to feel the ridges of something, it like it almost feels like you're not supposed to do that.
Yeah.
Right? Like but I think that's the honor of art, right? Yeah. When you're afraid to touch something, it means that there's this like value, not of money, but of like time and energy that you're touching. And even though like my hand isn't full of crap, so it's okay, but there's a tactile sense that goes into your like soul, at least mine, where it's like, oh my God, I'm touching this art, right? Those are the things that I'm trying to like pull out and let people like flex that a little bit more, right?
Yeah.
So I'll try to get back on track here. I was doing the physical stuff, and then it came over to the digital, right? Because I like to examine things from different lenses. And I was like, okay, I want to make a digital version of the physicals, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. The one of the, sorry, I just want to interrupt you. So there's one of your 2012 piece, right? Underground Energy, which is the pyramids underneath the Earth's surface.
Oh yeah.
That was a piece that you wanted to tokenize, right?
Yes.
So carry on, but like that's so why was that important to you? Like, I mean, I guess because you're so digitally native, you always knew that it needed to be on the blockchain so that it could last forever. Maybe what is the thinking there of why you felt I really need to make this physical piece digital?
Wow, man, that's crazy. You're talking about Underground Energy. That is one of my favorite pieces. I haven't thought about that in a very long time. So that piece, I actually have it sitting over there. You guys want to see something?
Yeah.
We're going to go for a tour of your house.
This is a really interesting piece. So I think this is from Coldie, as we said before, loves conspiracy theories. And he was listening to a podcast once, and this guy was talking about this theory of there being pyramids underneath the Earth's surface that are, you know, harnessing energy and powering the Earth. And it just allowed him to have like this idea for a piece of artwork and run with it. And I think that's what we're going to see now. It's called Underground Energy. It's a piece from 2012 by Coldie, and he tokenized this in 2018 on Rare Art Labs which isn't around anymore. But I'm sure, I'd hope that the NFT has still, been able to be transferred or exported off that platform.
Thank you for that link, but that was beautiful, kind of like transition. It was like,
you know what we said offline, guys.
Coldie's actually gone now.
No dead air. We'd be thrown off the airways if this was a radio station. They'd be like, guys, fucking say something, fucking speak to each other.
Coldie's gone down to the basement.
Nose.
Someone's gonna go
maybe
get
some
his
time
pizza
now.
soon.
Yeah, he's actually gone to get my pizza.
Coldie's actually gone. You weren't even joking.
So far, he never actually came back.
We'll wait for guys. We'll just reset the room for the 247 people that are in here. This has been a brilliant interview with Coldie. I think he's just disconnected. We're going to wait for him to come back. Hopefully he hasn't tripped and fallen over or something.
Do you know what I love? Just to say that it's been so great to obviously to listen to him, and it's very inspiring as someone who is not an artist myself, but a collector. It's been really inspiring, and it's been actually great for it to replicate what he's talking about the physical, and that you got this great artist who's actually going around showing you the studio, showing you all the art around, which is really, really makes it very real. And I think, in a world where things are not always real, it's great to have that kind of connection, I think.
I mean, look, a lot of people can relate to this. He's messaging me back now. I don't know what happened. I said, just dive back in on the same StreamYard link. Be right back. Okay, he's going to dive back in. The thing I love about this journey is that we've all started in NFTs, and we got sucked into the creative side of just going, oh, this looks nice, that looks nice. And then actually when you dig into the stories of some of the artists and their background and the journeys they've been on, he's been creating art since he was fucking 4 years old. This is like, and on his granddad's Macintosh computer with those collage backgrounds. I remember prattling around on those when I was in South Africa at the age of 7, not knowing, I didn't have that creative gene in me. But that's something that he gravitated towards, and that actually features.
I agree, and also taken by the fact that what Coldie was saying was, I actually relish and embrace the unknown of not knowing what's. Sometimes you're a penniless artist, and actually, I like to live on that edge. And of course, what's so great is that nothing's certain anyway, and it's all an illusion, and you're embracing it. Coldie, you're back. Where did you go so far away? You couldn't find your way back.
He's marked as safe on Facebook.
That is so funny. Okay, so
go. No, you go.
No, you're good. You're good.
Did you get what you were looking for? Oh yeah.
Yes. And I tried to plug it in, and that sent everything haywire. So this.
Wow! This is insane.
This is a lenticular that I made of the underground energy.
Holy shit!
And you can't really see it, but it's all stereoscopic.
Yes, yeah. We can see it a bit.
I couldn't. The reason this all fell apart was this plugs in and this lights up.
Okay. The pyramid
changes colors. It's pretty sick, but that blew up my whole machine. So, just thanks for bringing that up. That's a old school piece.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I'm glad my research paid off.
Yeah, we've got this new segment, Coldie, on our show called Burge Bangers, and it's because Burge has got this knack of finding things like little crevices. I wouldn't be surprised if he did a background check on you and he knows like your cousin or something like that.
Well, clearly I didn't, because before we went live, I was like, Coldie, so what's your real name? And I had it completely wrong. So clearly, clearly I'm good at some things and completely.
That's what a private investigator would do.
Just throw you off the scent with something that he doesn't know, and then all of a sudden.
But Coldie, bring it back to so why was it important to make that a digital piece?
God, that's a good question. I was making these things physical. I was starting to do, getting these things into art shows, and it's really hard because I'm digitally native in the way I make art. But in order to get into a gallery show, you had to put it onto a material that they could understand how to sell or display. And, you know, I was in shows where there would be a video artist and they literally would take the TV screen, shove it in the back corner next to the bathroom, and no one knew what to do with it. Right. And that's just not right, because art is art, right? It's just like, so I was doing all these things and finding cool methods, right, of getting my stuff, you know, to be seen. But when I found the blockchain, and this was like 2018, when I started tokenizing, it became very, very liberating, because I could have a creative thought, I could execute it, and I didn't have to repackage it for somebody else to consume. I didn't have to get it printed on a canvas. I didn't have to check these dumb boxes that some curator had to be that way.
Yeah.
And I had these pieces, like I was currently making Underground Energy when I found Rare Art Labs in 2018, and that was my portfolio. I wrote them. I was like, hey guys, I do stereoscopic art. I do things with 3D glasses. I do like animated, like 3D GIFs. This is my jam. What do you think? Right. And I had already harnessed that aesthetic of what I wanted to create. So I had something to share that wasn't just a bunch of one-off ideas. I was finding focus with an aesthetic, and it made it fun to experiment. And that's how everything I made after that, everything I do, if you lined up my art, there is a through line of jumps and experiments and thesis that I'm looking to prove for myself. And every single piece, there's a new little like jam that I'm trying to like tweak on. Oh yeah. Wow. Oh,
Interesting.
man.
I love seeing the physical, and then you kind of see this.
Yeah, so you know, it definitely hits differently, which I think is wonderful between physical and digital. But for me, finding a way that they can both be understood as the same thought, right?
Yes. Coldie, if you're someone new in the space and they're just discovering you for the first time, and they kind of want to get a feel for some of your art, or want to get some exposure to your art, where's the best place for them to start, bud?
I mean, I would say my website has a kind of a varied selection. It's definitely not totally comprehensive, but you'll get the idea of what I'm going for. And my website is Coldie 3D, COLDIE 3D.com.
That's cool.
And it has my new series up at the top of that. I know you guys had that up earlier.
Yeah.
I'll try to pull it back. Did I answer your question?
Yeah. No, I just like, so you've got this, you've still got a collection to mint, right? Is it the curated still frames?
Yeah. So have
you got a mint date for that? Or do you know when that's due to go live?
Yeah, so that's going to be going live on the 17th, which is next week.
Okay.
And it's going to be on OpenSea. It's a OpenSea drop.
Okay. Is there an allow list for that, or is that just going to be? I mean, how many?
There is. There's going to be a couple phases, not a whole lot. I pulled my DECA leaderboard, and it's not even a leaderboard. I literally took as many addresses as it would give me, right? Because like you do a top 100, I'm like, what? We're all in this together. Like, if you have anything of mine, there's like 800 some addresses on there. So,
right,
I would call it the Coldie community. And then I picked two friends who I appreciate their art and just how they roll. Matt Kane. We're gonna have a Gazers holder list, and Jules, who does the flowers, and just a lot of really thoughtful commentary with glitch and loops.
Okay.
We're going to do a flowers holder set. So yeah, rasters is another wonderful way to look at the art. Yeah, thanks for pulling that up.
No, that's cool.
So
that's great, because Jaden, you're going to be giving Burge and I one each of these, aren't you? You're gonna
So Coldie, he always does this. He does this when we talk about an NFT collection. He's like, "Oh yeah, if you could just buy this Good Vibes Club at 0.8 ETH for each of us, that'd be great."
really happy to receive that.
I don't know how much money you think Carrot Lane's making at the moment. We're actually in a down market, and when the attention flows go, they don't just go on crypto and NFTs. They fucking go on my subscriber list. Which brings me to my next point. If you're watching this, please subscribe to Carrot Lane at carrotlane.com. I appreciate it. Thanks for the plug. Sorry about that. But how many of these pieces are minting out? And how do people get exposure to this? So this is going to be next week. There's 273 people viewing at the moment. Is there going to be a allow list, or how is the process going to work? How can people get involved?
Yeah. So what the OpenSea series is I made these. They're kinetic 3D artworks.
Yeah.
Right. That's my new phase of focus is kinetic 3D art, and there's these the main interactive versions, which you saw on the top of the screen, where there's an Elon Musk and all those pieces are moving around. It's kinetic digitally, so you can click and drag, you can rotate it. I could pull one up. I'll do that after I talk about the drop. So what I did was I personally rearranged 5 different overlords that are part of the series. So there's Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, Sam Altman, Jeff Bezos, and Jensen Huang. Okay. So I took each of those portraits, rearranged them, and what I did, I'll show you in a second. There's these, what I call control layers, that you can toggle on and off with the UI, and it puts like a heat map, or it puts like a redacted version on top. And out of those 5 people, I curated a still frame version. So they're still images, and those will be on OpenSea. It's a collection of 250 of these. I call them moments of time, right? These moments with the overlords. And that will be on OpenSea on Tuesday, and they're 0.05 each. So it's around, ETH is doing its ETH thing. But it's around $100 for those. Yeah.
Awesome. What's the supply in the collection?
250.
Okay.
And the fun part is, can you see him up there? Let me see. Is Gene Wilder showing? Yes, he is. My favorite movie, I think one of the very best films ever made, is Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Yeah.
And Gene Wilder's.
The Gene Wilder version, absolutely. Like I cannot even get halfway through the new one.
Although there was a funny meme that went up about the grandpa who stays in bed. It was actually popped up the other day. It was like that guy sat in bed for 30 years while his family went out and worked, and they couldn't feed themselves. And I thought, fuck it, that's so funny.
And all of a sudden he's dancing around and going to Willy Wonka. Yeah.
I always loved Gene Wilder. Gene Wilder was just hysterical, wasn't he?
Oh god.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
So my favorite movie of all time. It's just a perfect story.
Yeah.
And I always aligned with Charlie. I felt like Charlie. I still feel like Charlie.
Yeah.
And
the underdog.
The underdog. And I've done this in the past, and it's worked. What I'm doing for this is there's 250 of these moments, and of those I'm picking 3 random number generated, spin the wheel, you win situation. Those people are going to win a full interactive version. That's like the top tier of. So there's like like 2 tiers, I guess, of the drop.
Yeah.
There's the moments, which is like $100, have a piece, enjoy it. But on top of that, I'm gonna have 3 people that are gonna get the golden ticket, and they're gonna get this what I hate to say higher end, but they're the higher tier of the series, the interactive 3D kinetic artwork. Yeah. And again, I just love everybody. I did this with the Jack Dorsey drop I did, where I took still frames from the animated version, and then one person won the animated version, and it just was great. And the person who won it loved it, and now we're friends. And it's just like, this is what I want to do.
Oh, I love that.
So that'll happen on Tuesday, and then following that, there will be the full 3D kinetic versions will be put up for sale as well, and that's a whole other rabbit hole.
Yeah. No, I love that. Simon, have you got anything to sort of chime in there? I guess we sort of, I don't want to say coming towards the end of the live stream, but unless anything you want to chuck in there.
Just one thing I was going to ask you. I know we could go on forever and go down various rabbit holes. And you may well have done this, so forgive me, but have you explored putting your art on Bitcoin? Yeah, because there's quite a lot of, I've gotten bits of art on Bitcoin and artists, and there's some great experimentation, I would say. Some really interesting and thoughtful artists and art taking place on there. And it has a different feel to it all. It's being put on sats, which have their own rarity, and that whole story that sits behind that. So I was just really interested to get a sense of where you're at with that.
Yeah, actually, I have inscribed several, a couple series. Let's see, my first one I did, I think it was sat like 140K. It was like really hard to do, very, very hard to do. And I did a portrait of Casey Rodarmer, who created it, because I'm very much about form and function, even with like a technology layer. So I like to mint things on the protocol of the person that they're involved with, right? So I did a portrait of Casey Rodarmer, a decentralized of him very early on. And then I did I minted ordinals that were wrapped with Emblem Vault. So they're ETH tokens.
Yeah.
But they're also they're technically ordinals as well if you unwrap it.
Wow. Okay.
I did that to onboard as many of my ETH collectors to have some ordinals.
Great.
And that's a filthy fiat. It's called filthy fiat. That was the very first.
Right. Okay.
Look that one up.
Because I had that with a lot of the counterparty assets on Emblem Vault. It's made it a lot easier. I mean, that Nakamoto card that's just sold for 26 Ethereum or whatever it is through Emblem Vault, the aggregator platform, which I think has made it easier. Somewhat ironically, I did a post on it the other day, and I guess it's typical of the historical community going, oh, he mentioned Etherscan and the price of it on Etherscan, and that says everything because it's a Bitcoin asset or whatever. I think people get kind of tribal about that. But just on Simon's point, do you think there's a difference in platforms or anything like that? Do you think somewhere down the line there'll be more liquidity on Bitcoin, or do you think Ethereum is the NFT platform?
I think that each of them has their own like place and reason.
Yeah.
And I think that I mean, my thesis on ordinals is that there's going to be an inflection point when it costs so much to inscribe with sats, just because the price of Bitcoin and the network action will escape velocity to a certain point where there's going to be way less stuff inscribed. And at some point, very rarely will people do it. I mean, if it goes to where, we think Bitcoin's true value is at, then ordinals will be asymmetrically rare compared to, you know,
ETH
or Solana. So purely from a like mathematical standpoint, I think that it's a very interesting time to be able to put stuff directly on Bitcoin. And I have done, I taught those 2 series. I did a series on the last halvening, which was a year and a half or so ago. I did a Michael Saylor decentralized portrait.
I saw
that.
That's
on Gamma. And it was an open edition for, I don't know if it was like a day or something. It was just an open edition for halvening, and as many people that wanted it could get it. And it ended up minting like 3,000 tokens. And those are sitting on Gamma. I mean, anybody who's looking for a piece of my work on Bitcoin, those are very attainable. I don't even know what they're at. They were at like $25 a while ago. Like they're
really,
wow. I really like that. I like the fact people can discover your art on that canvas, if you like, and who knows where it might go.
I think that's also the beauty of the space, is like the inefficiencies of the marketplace is also they don't aggregate the artists' work in one place. So you got to kind of have the knowledge of the individual collections. And if you're tuned into the artists, you're going to know that, you know, it's like, you know, with Beeple, he's got varying different art collections. He's had a collaboration with Gary V, and it's like there's a low barrier entry for him. But you've got to have some knowledge of the space, and that's the arbitrage, is the understanding and interest in the artist, which I think is really interesting. And the fact that you've got stuff on Bitcoin that's like less than $100 is crazy.
I'm gonna go there. Yeah.
I'm going
to go and get my
pizza
on that.
He's not getting
I'm
his
missing out on
pizza.
pizza. Unless you inscribed on a pizza sat, of course.
I've not done that. No.
Okay, we're going to do. We're just coming up to the last few minutes here. I'm just going to do a quick share screen. Burge wants to share something. This is the Michael Saylor one.
Yes. Yep. On Gamma, it's at $13 right now.
Oh man.
So I mean, but that's before Simon's gone and bought.
I just bought.
Fair warning.
Yeah, this is like, I call these like community drops. Right.
Yes.
We're like, it's a time and a place. It was the halvening. I put the timestamp on the corner of the date and the price of Bitcoin at the time.
I fucking love that quote, by the way, because if you're going to choose any quote, that's the quote you're going to choose. If it's not going to zero, it's going to 1 million.
Yep.
They're like,
and I think
he's such like philosophically when he speaks about Bitcoin, the reason he gets so much attention is because the way he speaks about it. But that is one of his most high premise quotes. So I think that's fucking brilliant.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah,
very clever. It shows how tuned in you are to the space.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all in. I fully feel it. We are still so early in this entire space, whether it's crypto or NFTs or whatever. The decentralized model works, and it's a long journey. But I think that the inherent value has been proven, and now it's becoming the time for everybody to just educate, just like all of you are doing right now, right? Just educate without taking anybody's feelings about it, and just expose people. Like, just like all of us were orange pilled at one point, right? We had to hear it from somebody, and we were. So what can we do to pay that forward? Not for our bags, but for like helping. I mean, I truly think that this will help people to like escape some of the matrix, right? Like,
I mean, even just for artists, to not have to go through that old antiquated system before, and now it's all democratized, and you don't have to make it art for anyone. You can put it onto the blockchain as NFTs and let the market decide, rather than having to go through a gallery owner and make stuff that they will be happy showing on a gallery day, for example.
I think the kind of angle that certainly the three of us have come at this with is just curiosity and almost like a self-interest thing. Like, we're learning as we're going along, especially speaking to like absolute OGs like yourself, Coldie. Just as we're kind of ending here, firstly, where is the best place for people to follow you? I know we're on X already, so a whole bunch of people probably follow you already, but there'll be a huge portion of our audience that can go and follow you. Where is the best place if they want to get involved in this mint? Have you got a Discord or anything like that?
The best place is X.
Okay.
That's where I'm at, and that's where I'm tweeting. So I would say, go on there. I'm literally, your sleuthing is wonderful. You found the the OpenSea page that I'm currently building. So, go there, watch for announcements. It's going to happen next Tuesday. The interactive versions follow my page. There'll be more information about those as well. But, if you take anything away from my talk today, I'm in love with kinetic 3D art. And I think that I would love to hear from other people as these tokens become live and we can play with them. I'm looking for networked art, and I'm looking to make things that invite people to have a creative thought and in a sense collaborate with the tools I've created and try to find something, find a feeling in there.
Yeah, I love that. Love that.
Coldie, just before we wrap up, do you have any bold predictions for the space? I mean, I was on Cyber Gallery on your on Cyber Gallery earlier, and I mean, I feel like I know what you're going to say here, but what's your 2 cents on the future of the metaverse? And do you feel like people in the future, like we are going to collect digital art and display it in this type of metaverse, whatever that will look like in the future?
Well, Bird, you're trying to stop the show here, and you're dropping me a hammer.
Sorry.
We've got another hour now.
Yeah, another hour. That pizza's going to be ice cold.
Nah, you're good. You're good.
It's been eaten by the dog.
Okay.
One bold prediction.
Don't give the dog NyQuil. Don't give the dog.
Right. AKA Chambo says, "Keep rocking it, Coldie." Bro, you've got so much support. I'll say this is the most amount of engagement we've had on a live stream, but it does show that when people do reach out on the timeline, that there is a lot of love there for you. I'm just mindful of the people that watch it back because I'm going to send this out to the 8,000 subscribers on Substack, and also we'll repurpose it in written form on Medium. I've got 90,000 followers on this. This is going to be a good one. Cool. Guys, if you've been listening, for the 320 of you that have been listening in the live stream, if you want the recording, just go to carrotlane.com, put your email address in. Don't worry, I'm not phishing your information. Just put your email address in. Trust me, it'll be fine. You're not going to die. But you'll get the recording and we'll send it out to you because this has been a brilliant episode.
And we've got to hear Coldie and your metaversal high premise.
One bold prediction.
I have done experiments in the metaverse for years. I did a Bitcoin art show during COVID when they ended our physical show. I had 5,000 people in 3 days come through. People told me that it allowed them to stop worrying about the world around them for a while. And then I did an art show to raise money for a feral cat hospital in Los Angeles. I, sold art about cats and raised $20,000 for them.
Wow.
And actually the crazy thing is that 20K turned, they held on to it and it's worth like 400K now.
Wow.
Wow. No capital gains if you're a 501c3. Check that out. I feel like the metaverse is a place that's going to take like Facebook and make it 3D. I mean, obviously that's why they did Meta. But I think that being able to ingest art in the metaverse, being able to hang out with your friends when you're, like you guys are across the pond, like, we can all hop in and get together and it'll feel even different than this. I think that that is going to happen. It's not if, it's just a matter of technology and time. It will. And I make art that's ingestible into the metaverse for that very reason. I have pieces that are 5 years old that are GLBs that are meant for the metaverse. So someday, you know, you're going to be able to like look at my art, and many like Lee Metageist in here. Like I shouldn't even be talking about this stuff. He is the absolute metaverse art legend. There's people in here who have seen way ahead of the curve that are making art with the metaverse, like first and foremost. And when that happens, we will party very hard. And we will enjoy that time. And you don't have to pick up beer cans and cigarette butts, right? The floor just stays clean, right? So I think that the future is very bright. We're still quite a ways off, as much as we want to be in there now. It's just not fully baked. But you know, crypto voxels, if people want to have fun, crypto voxels is so fun to walk around. It's a time capsule for art, especially for like 2019, 2020 era. Just fascinating to walk around there. We could talk more about all of that, because I will literally talk forever.
I think what we'll do, just because I'm mindful that if the recording goes too long, it cuts it off. So, but Coldie, what we're going to do is we're going to get you back on, maybe after the mint, maybe in a couple of weeks' time, because I've absolutely loved this. Kind of just, to steal an American phrase, shooting the shit.
Sure.
It's been good. It's been really good, and I really appreciate your time and you coming on. It's been a real value add, especially for the aspiring artists that have kind of listened into you, and also the art collectors, which is amazing. Guys, do me a massive favor. Go and give Coldie a follow if you haven't already. I'm sure his DMs are open if you've got any questions about his mint next week, which will be awesome. Coldie, it's been amazing having you on, my man. Simon, thanks for joining. Burge, thanks for joining. To the 328, if you want the recording, go to carotlane.com. But other than that, guys, just to say thanks for that. That was fucking brilliant. We could be chatting for the next 3 hours, but we'll get you on in a few weeks, my man. Really appreciate you, Coldie.
Sounds good. Thank you, guys. I had a great time. All of you are wonderful to talk to, and thanks for the deep dives. That was
Of course.
That was good.
Nice one. Thanks, guys. Really appreciate it. Awesome.
Take care, everyone.
Cheers.
Bye.